Today we're going to be talking about my first college football scholarship. We're going to talk about some of the mistakes that I made in the recruiting process, some of the things that I learned, and hopefully I could pass on that information to you. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the first big school that started recruiting me, and that was Yale. So obviously going to an Ivy League school like Harvard, Yale, Brown, that's like a life-changing school, right? That's like where you go to that school, you play football, fine. Maybe it's not the biggest football school. It's still D1. It might be D1 AA, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, it's still an insane school. Like the alumni that have gone to that school are absolutely insane, especially Harvard, Yale, right? So the thing about that I learned in that recruiting process about Yale is I remember sitting down specifically with the coach. They're like, hey, we like your film. We're really interested. We like your play style. We're recruiting you and one other kid who maybe lived like 20 to 25 minutes away from me. They were looking for a quarterback because they needed to recruit a quarterback for that specific class. Now, I remember my GPA at the time. I wasn't a super brainiac kid. I was not like a 4.0, like a 4.5. I was like a 3.5 GPA, right? Which I thought was pretty good. And that will get you into a lot of schools. But there's that Ivy League category, which is, again, a life-changing type school, life-changing type opportunity. And they told me, they're like, listen, your GPA is too low. You pretty much need to get a perfect SAT or ACT, right? Which is that test that you think's stupid, but they weigh it out, and that's obviously that applies for, colleges that you get into, because Ivy Leagues can't technically give a football scholarship. They could give you a scholarship, but it's mainly academic. So I needed to be able to check off the certain criteria. Now, why do I bring this up to you? I bring this up to you for you guys that maybe think school is stupid and you're just gonna scoot by. I'm here to play football. Guys, a higher GPA opens up so many more opportunities for you. Like, let's say I think 2.5 is what can get you into a lot of schools. 2.5 can get you into this many schools. A 3.0 is this. A 3.5 is this. A 4.0 is this. A 4.5 is even, you know what I mean, guys? It's never a bad thing to have a higher GPA. So that's one thing that I learned from this. Now, you might be wondering how it worked out. They told me, hey, you need to get a perfect score. I didn't get a perfect score because I wasn't that freaking smart. So ended up not going there. They ended up offering the kid who lived 20 to 25 minutes away from me a missed opportunity. Now, again, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I would have went to that school. Probably be doing something else. But telling you right now, guys, having a higher GPA never hurt anybody. Now, guys, as a football player, you obviously are always trying to gain weight. And if you want one of the best tasting protein powders to help you gain weight, check out that very first link in the description below for our AG Labs Whey Protein Powder. This is our cookies and cream flavor. We also have 3 other flavors like chocolate peanut butter brownie, cinnamon snickerdoodle, and salted caramel frappuccino flavor. Guys, some of the best tasting protein that's easy on your stomach, easy to digest, and will help you gain weight this off season. So guys, check out that very first link in the description below if you want to get your hands on one of these proteins. If you want to get a 25% off discount code, just use the code at the checkout, FIRST25, FIRST25, and you'll get 25% off your first order of one of our whey protein powders. So again, guys, very first link in that description below. Now, this is the story of how I got my first offer. This is not the school that I went to, but this is the first scholarship offer that I received. Now, there's a very, very tiny school in Los Angeles. So I live in Southern California. Very, very tiny school in Los Angeles called Occidental College. So Occidental College, not the biggest football school. It's a Division III school, but as a guy who maybe didn't have any offers entering into his senior year, I was going to a lot of camps my junior year in the summer. Well, maybe not a lot for today's standards, but I meant to maybe about 3 or 4 different camps. And so Occidental College was one of those camps. And I remember it was freaking hot as hell. It was super warm. Not that many people went to the campus, probably 50 dudes, which is small for a college camp. And I remember showing up and performed really well. The quarterback coach at the time, his name was Darnell Arsenault, I want to say is his name. And he was a Southern California guy. Well, he's actually from Hawaii, but he coached in Southern California for a bit, and then he coached at that college, and then I want to say he moved back to Hawaii. But anyways, long story short, went to that camp, and I remember this is how I kind of got the attention of all the coaches at the camp, but we had a fastest man challenge. Now, if the quarterback is winning the fastest man challenge, and I'm not a Lamar Jackson type of speed guy. I was pretty good. I had pretty good athleticism, but I wasn't that guy, right? So if I'm winning the fastest man competition, that tells you probably the caliber of the school. However, I won the competition. All the coaches were kind of like, oh, wow, who's this kid? And then they see me that I'm a quarterback, and then they see that I could throw the ball a little bit, and they're very, very interested, right? So I remember after the camp talking with the quarterback coach, the OC, the head coach. They're like, listen, we really like you. We just need to check out your film, and then we're thinking about offering you. So then they checked out my film, and then that led to a scholarship offer. So that was my first offer, but I had really no plans of going to that school. I hate Los Angeles. No offense if you're from Los Angeles, but I hate Los Angeles. Didn't want to go down there. Didn't want to live there. But that was my first offer, and that kind of got the recruiting process started, which led to a lot of these other schools starting to recruit me in my senior year. Had no offers entering my senior year, but the recruiting process obviously took place summer before my senior year, and then during my senior year, mainly after the season, that's when things started to ramp up, and that's what we're gonna talk about next. Now, the school that I ultimately ended up attending and going to was a school called Whittier College, which is where I accepted an offer to. Now, that was a Division III school, but I had a couple other offers to like bigger Division II schools. Those were out east, like I wanna say like in like that Massachusetts, New Jersey, Connecticut type area. And then I had another Division III offer that I was considering going to in Illinois, which was called Knox College. Now, you know, I get a lot of shit sometimes online for people saying like, oh, well, you only play D3 or D2 ball. It's like, yeah, bro, like I'm 5'9", like 175, 180 pounds. Like I'm happy with what I can get. You know what I mean? I'm not 6'2". It'd be one thing. If I was 6'2", 225 and I went D2, then okay, there you go, right? But I'm telling you right now, guys, at the end of the day, just get your education paid for. If your goal is to play college football, who cares what anybody says? A lot of people have this mindset of D1 or bust. Nowadays, especially with the transfer portal, you go to a D2, you go to a D3, freaking hell right. Like go there, ball out, then maybe you could go transfer somewhere if that's a goal of yours. Everybody's journey is a little bit different. That was not something that I wanted. I just wanted my education paid for. So I remember the three things that I was considering at the time was a D2 offer, which was out east, but that was like not the biggest offer. It was probably like 85, 90%. I'd have to move to the East Coast. I wasn't a big fan. I love the East Coast now, but I'd never been there before. I'd only ever been to like California, Arizona, and like Hawaii at the time. But I probably would have taken that looking back, like, because I love the East Coast, love the people out there. But that was one that I was considering. I was considering Knox College in the middle of nowhere, Illinois. But I remember going on a visit there, and what they decided, like, you know, you hang out, like official visit, you know, you hang out with some guys from the team, you have a guy that shows you around. And I remember like, hey, you want to go see what we do for fun? And what they did for fun was they were tipping cows over. I'm like, hell no, like it's like, this is not what I'm not with these kind of people right now. So, and I get it if you are that way, but that just wasn't me at the time. And then I had an offer to Whittier College, was the school that I ended up going to, which is pretty much free. It was like a 98% scholarship, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go there, take the burden off my parents having to pay for school, go to there, it's close to home, I could frequent back and forth to my house, which was the best decision for me. But at the end of the day, I just wanted my best offer. And that's what I kind of can recommend to you guys, is that if you're in that decision where you have options, you wanna have options. You never wanna have to make a choice, like, oh, do I do this or do I do that? Because choice is kind of like a negative connotation. You wanna have options where you could go wherever you wanna go, across the country, stay at home, whatever. And if you have those types of options, pick the best one suited for your goals. And if you do that, I think things will absolutely work themselves out.